criminal justice system.
Chair recognizes Ms. Plesa.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, Senate Bill 1563 seeks to improve outcomes for justice-involved veterans by equipping county jailer staff with the tools necessary to recognize and respond to the unique challenges faced by this population, particularly in relation to mental health and trauma stemming from military service.
Mr. Speaker,
Ms. Trox-Clair, for what purpose?
will the gentlelady yield
Lady
for
yield for
questions?
questions. Lady yields.
Absolutely.
Do you know that the Texas Conservative Coalition recommended an opposed vote on this bill because of the role of government and because of the lack of guidelines in place for the training it mandates, raising the possibility that jailers receiving training in interacting with veterans could be at odds with the best course of action in that particular encounter?
I wasn't aware with that recommendation, but I do know that the Texas Policy Research Organization has given a recommendation to this bill as a yes, and I quote them, SB 1563 is fiscally conservative in design, aiming to enhance public service outcomes through improved training without expanding government spending. It represents a low-cost policy change with potential long-term benefits for both correctional staff and veteran populations involved in the criminal justice system.
Well, you raise a very good point that really members of this body could go either way on this issue. And it struck me that even though you voted in favor of SJR 87 today and you're present on the floor, you were not here to take a vote on SJR 87 today.
I think that we should stay on this bill and not
Thank
a bill
you.
that...
Members will confine their remarks to the bill at hand.
Hi, well,
Mr. Lowe, for what purpose?
will the gentlelady yield for questions?
Lady yield for
Absolutely,
questions.
Representative.
Lady yields.
Hi, so I'm a veteran and I worked in a detention facility, a jail. It's a very complex environment, so I've just got a few questions for you.
Yes, sir.
As a veteran, I'm wondering, why did you think this bill was necessary?
Well, as many of our colleagues know, the county jails tend to be the #1 mental health provider in our counties. And just this last year, on April of 2024, Anthony Johnson Jr., a 31-year-old Marine veteran diagnosed with schizophrenia and experiencing a mental health crisis, died in Tarrant County Jail custody after being restrained by jailers. His death highlights the critical need for jail staff to properly train and recognize and respond to the unique needs of our veterans in our county jails.
Okay, what kind of training, though, will jailers actually receive?
Well, as you know, from your time serving in combat and being a veteran, our veterans populations have very specific needs. They have PTSD, they have traumatic brain injuries, they deal sometimes with substance abuse. So this bill will help our county jailers understand how to de-escalate and what those implications are on our veterans. And so that's the intent of this bill.
Okay, who will help design this training? Is it T-Cole? Is it the Sheriff's Department that's running the jail? Please explain that.
Thank you so much for that question, Representative. It's a very important question. T-Cole already has this training created, and it's just going to get rolled into what county jailers are going to do in continuing education. So it's not going to be any extra cost or any extra time for them.
Okay, will this be one-time training or is it ongoing training?
It's just a one-time specialized training module, sir.
Okay, will this program be mandatory for all counties?
Yes, sir. As I've said before, our county jails are the #1 provider of mental health in our counties, and so we hope to have this implemented in all 254 counties.
As a fiscal conservative, I am concerned about the financial burden that we continue placing on the sheriff's departments, sheriff's offices, and their jails. So can you please explain that?
I agree with you. We need to be very fiscally conservative when we look at our budgets. And so that's why this bill, like I've said to you before, to Representative Trox-Clair, it is a fiscally conservative design bill. There is no cost on our county jailers, and there is no cost on our counties to implement this.
Okay, last question. What is your vision of this legislation? What is the outcome you hope to achieve?
Yes, sir. My hope is that we don't have continued instances like what we saw in Tarrant County with Anthony Johnson Jr. We want to prevent these instances. We want to make sure that our veterans, even if they are serving time in our county jails, are protected.
Okay, thank you for your time.
Thank you, and I thank you for your JA, and I move passage.
Mr. Speaker,
Ms. Hicklin, for what purpose?
I just have one quick question.
Is the lady yield for questions?
Absolutely.
Lady
Thank
yields.
you. Do you recall us passing the bill by Representative Romero that requires us to notify the Texas Veterans Commission anytime a veteran is arrested?
I'm not sure about that bill. I'm laying out Senator Menendez's bill right now.
The only reason I'm asking is to compare the services and where this would fill in those gaps.
Like I said, I am not advised as to the bill that you're referring to.
Okay, well, we passed it in the House. We all voted on it already.
We've passed over 3,000 bills.
Okay.
We've taken over 3,000 votes
No
in the
problem.
House, so I'm sorry that, we are
Representative-
also running on low sleep. So.
Thank you for your concern for our veterans.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for your questions, and I move passage.
Members, the question occurs on passage to third reading of Senate Bill 1563. A record vote has been requested. The clerk will ring the bell. Show Mr. Jones of Dallas voting aye. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? Show Ms. Hickling voting no. Have all members voted? There being 80 ayes and 64 nays, Senate Bill 1563 passes to third reading. Chair lays out on second reading Senate Bill 1467. The clerk will read the bill.
SB number 1467 by Hina